Hello and welcome to the Star Wars T-65B X-Wing build guide. We're going to be quickly and precisely building this magnificent mod, originally created by Electionize and ported by Bill Jones. This is one incredible ship. Comes with functioning habs, the weapon sounds as you would expect, and an overall deadly, fast, sharp turning build. This is an excellent piece of work. You won't be disappointed. And this is the T-65B X-Wing Star Wars ACSO by Bill Jones. A few things to note about this. This is a Class C. You will need your Class C piloting license. Some of the components could be locked under level restrictions. If you're over level 60, you should have access to all the components. Outside that, that's all I can think about that you really need to worry about for this build. Let's go check the load order just to make sure you can get that all correct. To find the X-Wing, just simply type in X-Wing. Here it is, and you would download it. Now, it's really important. The essential mod requirement for this to function is the Shipbuilding Tweaks by Evansy. This one here, Shipbuilding Tweaks, ensure that it's by Evansy. You would download this. Then when it comes to the load order, ensure that your Shipbuilding Tweaks sits below any other kind of ship mods. For the safest bet, put it at the very bottom like this. And as long as your ship mods are above the Shipbuilding Tweaks, it should have no worries. But for the best result, just put them directly above the Shipbuilding Tweak. Even though this says the Naboo N1, this is just an example. You put your X-Wing above the Shipbuilding Tweaks. And that goes for any of the Star Wars ships. Shipbuilding Tweaks on the bottom, the ships on the top. So the first step is we'll need to find a ship that we can completely delete. So something cheap or something you don't want. And you want to double press on any of the modules and delete. The very first module we want to attach is in the Bays category. Navigate to your Bay tab. We want to find the XWing Bay. Select that and keep that kind of in the middle. Next, we're going to connect a hab to the XWing Bay. Open your builder, navigate to your habs tab, and it's important we click on the X-Wing hab bottom. Click that. For the placement, we simply want to snap it on top. Technically, it is snapping to this point here. So we're just going to snap that on and it'll sit exactly like this. We need to add another 2x1 hab on top. This can be any 2x1 hab. So for instance, you could go Deimos, any of the 2x1s here. You could go your Hope Tech, any 2x1. For me, I'm going to be using the paid for mod Crimson Fleet habs. In order to get these habs, you will have to purchase them off the Creations Marketplace. And I'm going to be using a workshop. We will be placing this hab directly on top so they are in a perfect alignment. After you've attached the 2x1, we need to attach 2 landing gear. Head to your landing gear tab. We want to build the X-Wing landing gear port side. So we'll click the placement for the X-Wing landing gear is at the front of the ship, the 4. You will be snapping to this point here. Duplicate the landing gear, flip it, and put it on the exact same connection point on the other side. So they're both connected to the front of your X-Wing bottom hab. Now we'll attach the wings. For that, we need to go into our builder menu, navigate to the structural tab. We will be placing the X-Wing port top, port bottom, which will flip around onto the starboard side as well, starting with the port top X-Wing. For the port top connection, we're going up and then dropping it down onto the ship. So it should sit higher, not lower. So for the X-Wing port top, you're going to be dropping it down and connecting it to the top 2x1. Going to sit like this on the ship. We'll be replicating that same step. So we will duplicate the port side, flip it, connect it to the very top of the 2x1, just like this. Now we need to connect the bottom wings. Go to your builder, navigate to the structural tab. We want to build the X-Wing wing port bottom. We will be connecting the bottom to the bottom 2x1 hab. So get your alignment, move it up, and it should snap to these 2 connection points and look like this. We'll be doing that same step again, duplicating, flipping, and then moving it into position onto the bottom 2x2 hab. On the left here is an example of how it should not look. You do not want to snap the wing to the top 2x1. We are moving it down and connecting it to the bottom hab. This is how it'll look as the end result. Next, we're going to be mounting 3 components on the top here. First one we are going to be mounting is the reactor. Go to your builders tab, navigate to reactor tab, select the X-Wing 04Z cryogenic reactor. This is going to be mounted connecting to that very first connection on the 2x1, just like this. This is what it looks like. It's just going to be floating. It'll look strange, but makes sense later. Next, we need to add the shield. Navigate to the shield tab, select the X-Wing MPAT deflector shield. We are mounting that by connecting it to the reactor mounting point. So pull across onto your reactor and it should snap to that connection point there. It'll look like this as if they're attached to each other. Next, we need to add the X-Wing scanner. In your builders menu, navigate to your equipment tab. Make sure to select the X-Wing GAN jammer. We are mounting that and connecting it to the shield and the mounting point on top of the 2x1 at the back. So this is how those three modules will look together. Reactor at the front, shield in the middle, scanner at the back. Next, we're going to add the fuel tank. Go to your fuel tank tab, X-Wing fuel tank. This will sit behind the scan jammer. So grabbing and dropping down right next to the scan jammer. This component is snapping to the point at the back. Note that it does have two other connection points at the back there as well. Next, we're going to mount the grav drive. Go to the grav drive tab, grab the X-Wing GBK585 hyperdrive. Make sure you're not mounting to here. We are dropping it, connecting it to the bottom 2x1. Drop down, go across, and it will snap like that. It will look like this when it's connected. This is just a quick view of everything as it is right now and how it all looks. Next, we'll mount the cockpit. Go to your builder, navigate to cockpit. Ensure you select the T-65B X-Wing cockpit. The X-Wing cockpit is mounted to the top 2x1. Ensure you do not mount it to the bottom, mount to the top. Now that we have the cockpit mounted, we're going to build one of the weapon platforms. To start with, we are going to go to the structural tab, navigate down and find the X-Wing proton torpedo mount. We're going to mount some weapons to this before actually attaching it. However, for reference, it's going to be attached not like this, but like this. It's going to be sticking out. So it'll protrude out like that. We're going to grab the proton torpedo mount, drag it out, and we're going to attach some weapons to it. Mounting the weapons, we want to go to the weapon tab, seek out the X-Wing proton torpedo weapon. Do note yours will look different to me. I have a retextured mod on. We're going to be placing two of these at the front. Grabbing your torpedo, mount and face to the inside. It will look like this. We'll be doing the exact same for the other side. Duplicate it and stick it right next to the other one. It should sit like this. For the next weapon being mounted, this one could be a little bit up to you. However, the safest bet is to go the PBO-40 auto electron beam. You would build that, place it just like the previous weapons, duplicate and drop down so they'll look like this. I'm going to try a different set of weapons. I'm going to try the Exterminator 95 MEV auto helion beam. This may not work for you, but I'll be just experimenting and trying to attach these. However, safest bet, go the PBO-40 auto electron beam for your weapon choice. However, do note that the Exterminator do not unlock till level 60, so you may not have access to them. Next, we're going to mount the weapon system to the ship. So we're going to double click or press onto any of the modules connected to the structural torpedo mount. Click press, and then we're going to drag it and attach it to the first mounting position. Now that we have the two weapon systems mounted, we're going to continue to mount the weapons on the wing. Back to your weapons tab, we want to scroll up or locate the X-Wing KX9 laser. Grab your KX9. This is the port top. Going to be connecting it to the port side. So mounting it up on top. We're going to duplicate it, flip it, and attach it to the starboard side. We'll be repeating that process for the other two wings. Grabbing the port side. Once we've connected the top mounted KX9 laser, we're going to connect the bottom. Go back to your builders tab. Go back to your weapons tab. Select the bottom KX9 laser. You're mounting that to the bottom wing. Grab and drop onto the wing attachment. We'll do the same on the other side. Duplicate, flip, and attach to the wing on the bottom starboard side. This is what your ship will look like at this moment in time. Just noting how all the weapons look mounted to the wings. Before we connect the fuselage, we need to add our R2-D2, which is in the cargo tab. Select the X-Wing astromech droid R2-D2 cargo. Mounting R2-D2 is sitting at the back of the cockpit. So R2-D2 will sit and snap and be very nicely aligned with the reactor. Next, we're going to add the fuselage and the docker. For the fuselage, we need to go to the structural tab. Navigate down in your structural tab and find the X-Wing fuselage. We want to align the hole or the space for R2 with R2 on the ship. So click, drag across, go up, and it should snap in place with R2 popping up just as you would expect. The docker attaches to the fuselage at the front. So we'll be attaching the docker now. Go to your docker tab, locate the X-Wing docker 4. We'll be clicking, dragging, and dropping that to the front of the ship. However, noting that the connection point sits quite far behind the actual docker itself, mounts further back. However, it will sit like this on the ship. Next, we need to mount the engines, which will be sitting at the back. We have the top and bottom engines we need. So we'll go back to our builder, navigate to the engines. We're looking for the X-Wing 4L4 engine port top. Engines are snapping to the top point here. We'll just drop that down. It will snap. We're going to be doing the same on the starboard side. Duplicate, flip, drag across and mount. It will sit just like this, the two top engines. Repeating that same process, but for the bottom, go to your builders tab, engines, X-Wing 4L4 engine bottom. These will be sitting under the wings, connecting the bottom engines, snap to the wings just like that. You don't have to flip these. You can technically just duplicate and snap across. And by placing all four engines, this is what it'll look like. Now with the engines mounted, everything has been placed. Go to your flight check and we need to assign the weapons. Assign the weapons however you would please. With the weapons assigned, we will have no errors. If you have the unattached module error, just double click or press on your ship anywhere, move it, drop it, it should fix it. When it comes to coloring, double click the entire ship. We want to unclick cockpit and R2-D2. We'll then go into the color and then accentuate the red, which is color 2, making it a more brighter reddish color, making it a little bit more similar to the ships in the actual movie. Adjust it how you please, hit enter. Then we want to select the cockpit and R2-D2, and we're going to accentuate the white. Having them both selected, go into your color 2 and make them a bit whiter. If you like, you can change the color of the KX9 weapons by clicking multiple of them. Go into your color. On your color 2 tab, you can change this to a nicer lighter blue. Change it as you see fit. I'm just going to make it a little bit lighter. You can make it a little bit more faded if you want, just to give a better, more accurate look. After that, we're going to ensure that we accentuate the colors on R2-D2. Go into color 1 tab. We're going to make him very white. It looks nice and clean. We're going to go to color 2. We're going to accentuate the blue on him, making him a nice bright blue. Up to you how heavy you want to go with that. Now, if you want to change the overall tone and color of the ship, I would double click it, unselect R2-D2, go into your color 1 tab. And this is where we can change the overall look and sort of coloring of the ship. So it's very much up to you how you color it, but you can make some pretty nice changes to the overall look. You can make it almost look like a very dark, crazy looking Sith kind of X-Wing almost, or we can make it crystal clean and white. So really up to you. I'm going to make it nice and bright white, very clean, but you get the idea. You can make it whatever color you like. Do note that the cockpit doesn't seem to change color too well. While you're viewing this, you can also change the color of a couple of the other stripes on the ship. We'll just try and make those a little bit redder. And while we're here, if you do have it all selected other than R2-D2, you could go into color 3 and change the yellow bands. You could accentuate them and make them a bit brighter. So I'm happy with this. So we'll go enter, and there you have it. This is the X-Wing built with R2-D2. Let's go check this out. Make sure you save the game as soon as you finish building. This is the ship in all its glory. I'll just show you what it's like inside. So we'll head over to it. We want to walk under it, and we want to almost align ourselves with this thing here. And then you'll walk around a little bit and you'll get the forward E or R. We'll just go straight into cockpit. And here it is. This is what it looks like in a cockpit. I'll just show you around. And this is what the cockpit looks like. It looks incredible. So you can head down. It has your cargo hold and your captain's locker just as normal. You can see that the different weapons I mounted made no difference. They just do more damage. That's why I attached them. Since we've attached a Crimson Fleet hab, we have all the workbenches up here as well. And we can even drop down into the other hab, which functions all the same, and we can exit out of the bottom here. And there you have it, the giant R2 and the X-Wing. What an incredible, huge Star Wars ship. The sheer size of this is incredible. I hope you found this useful. If you get anything out of these videos, consider liking, subscribing. It really goes a long way. I'll be trying to cover all the different Star Wars ships for builds. Consider following along. Leave us a comment if it was helpful, and I'll catch you later. Peace. I'll leave you with some footage of the X-Wing in action. Thanks very much for watching. Till next time, peace.